excited. Today's been a crazy busy day. If you've seen a lot of YouTube videos with this on, it's because I made them all in the same day and I'm here to make another one. But this one is for garden things, which I'm super excited about because I've been waiting all winter to bring you more content on all garden things, self-sufficient, growing things at home, and all the fun stuff. So if you've seen my YouTube video of starting all of our seeds for the garden this year, I'm here to give you an update, and I have to do some maintenance because things are getting out of control. This greenhouse that we got is absolutely amazing. If I can find the link for it, I'll put it down in the description so you can go and get yourself a greenhouse. It's honestly the best thing I think I ever invested in to start seeds, because last year in our garden, the success rate of germination was awful. We had to go buy a lot of our plants already started, and I didn't want that to happen this year because I love starting from seed and it's a lot more cost effective as well. So I'm going to take you into where I now have my greenhouse, because since I last showed you, it has moved. So I'm going to take you in. I actually have a fan on them right now, and I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks on what I've been learning. We're going to do some things here today with my tomato plants. All right, so let's get going and I'll give you a peek. Okay, so here's my greenhouse. I have my fan here. I'm going to turn it off though so I can show you what's going on. Okay, so this is so exciting. I can't even tell you how grateful I am for all of, or most of, I shouldn't say all of, most of my seeds to germinate. And I'm going to show you what we have going on, but also what didn't take. And then we're going to go from there. So last you've seen, and I've done an awful job of keeping you up to date on the growth, they were literally just seeds, and I'm not even sure if I did a video on when they sprouted to be about this tall, but look it. They are full swing, ready to grow, already going strong, and like I said, I have neglected it and I need to get to it. It's just been super busy here, and that's not an excuse, but I have to do this today. So we have major growth. As you can see, all of our pepper plants, let me turn the light on so you can see here. All of our pepper plants are doing amazing. This one you can see, 2 seeds were in that one. So some of them I put an insurance seed in case it didn't sprout, the backup would. So a lot of them have 2 sprouts in, and then there's some that just have the 1, like this here. So there's another jalapeno plant with 1. This one had 2, but they're going good. They're growing strong. You can see that the stem's actually stocky now, and it's not being leggy. And that's a big thing that you want to see. So what I have learned is that if you grow your vegetables too quickly, they'll try and reach for the light, and they'll become laggy, like some of them are that you can see. And what you can do for that is just lower the light and keep them in the dark for a little bit too through the day. That's what's been working for me, so I'm going to share it with you. But the things I really need to tend to today is my tomato plants. So example, you can see that this tomato plant needs some help. It needs some support. It's growing over and it needs to grow up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them some support, and then I'm actually going to transfer them to my bedroom where there's just natural light by a window, and we're gonna go with that. So I'm gonna give you a better look. Now this morning I came in here and I opened the zipper and I just laid it over the top because it was getting too moist in there. And what I've learned is if the temperature is too warm and too moist, the stems of the plants won't harden and they will continue to be leggy. So that is why I have a fan going, because I need to increase the air circulation and I need to lower the temp a bit so they harden up. So as you can see at the top, I have all of my jalapeno peppers there. I've got some cherry tomatoes and beefsteak tomatoes here. Now the cherry tomatoes, you can tell, are more leafy. You can see the one there at the very back. And the beefsteak tomatoes are more leggy. So you can see like that there. So those definitely need help. Now to start growing them, I had just the purple light on, and let me show you here. I can turn it so you can see. That is just yellow. That is a purple light, and that is a mix of both. So I now have it on the mix of both at the lowest setting, and I'll keep it on so we can just see with better lighting, but that is how we are growing now. This is down here, bell peppers. What else do we have here? More bell peppers. We have white onion, cilantro, rosemary. This one's looking a little bit sad here. White onion, and then I've got some lavender plants growing here. On this level, we have cauliflower, basil, some more onion, lettuce. See how this lettuce is laggy? That's not the best. But once again, I had it too moist and they weren't able to harden. So this is a basil plant. You can see that they got laggy and they were reaching for the light, so I turned the light down. And then down here, this one's wild. So this is some more lettuce. We've got some pumpkin and watermelon growing, which has taken off like crazy. And then some asparagus, which has already gone to seed. And that needs to be planted outside. But what we're going to start with and what we're going to do right now is take control and focus on these tomato plants. Okay, so I'm gonna take the tomato plants, we're gonna go and bring them out into the kitchen so I just have a big space to work on my island. And we're going to help them stand up straight. And then I've got some Velcro tape that I can show you that I found at Canadian Tire. You can probably get it at any gardening center, that we're gonna wrap around to keep it tight to the stick and keep it upright. Now, as you can see, looking at what I just showed you, for everything that has grown, I'm not perfect. I never intended to be, but I am grateful for the growth that's happening. I just need to get it under control. And you've also probably noticed that if you did see my seeding video of starting all of these seeds, the greenhouse is still quite full. So the turnout rate of germination was very high, and I'm going to show you, because I just kept them over here, what didn't turn out and what didn't sprout, so you can see my success rate with the method that we did. So if you didn't see the method and why there's 2 cups, because this is how I created the system. So I put an empty cup with what it is on it, 2 rocks or stones in the bottom, and then another one to keep up off. So I have a visual knowing if this is underwatered or overwatered, because I can see in the bottom cup. Now let me show you, for example, this one here. You can see in the bottom of this cup, there's extra water from what this plant had in it. Whoops, sorry. See that extra water? I know this plant doesn't need any water. In fact, it's a little too wet. So that is why I have the fan going to keep air circulation going, because what that's going to do, and what I've learned once again, is increasing the airflow and dropping the temperatures is going to help that stem harden up. So when it goes outside and it's in cold temperatures through the night, not freezing, not frost, but cooler temperatures through the night, it's not going to be shocked. That's what helps harden it. So once I get everything going here, I'm going to keep the fan on, keep this door open, and then it's pretty cool in here. It's about 68 degrees, I believe. Let me see what the floor is reading. 70. So it's up a bit just because it's warmer, the sun's out. Yeah, here we go. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move all my tomato plants out to the kitchen, and then we will do those next steps together. Oh, and before we do that, I'm going to show you what didn't turn out from the greenhouse. So out of all of my seeds, these here, and I'm super sad, my peach trees that I planted all died. Super sad, but you know what? It is what it is. So that is the only things there that didn't turn out. This one, I mean, it did, but then it looks a little bit sad, and I think it's dying, so I just took it out because we planted extra. But look at the success rate and turnout. So these didn't work, and whoever told me that celery is hard to grow was damn right, because I had no celery turnout. But you can see how full the greenhouse still is. We had a very high success rate of germination this year. So now let's go ahead, take all of my tomatoes out, and we'll put them out on the kitchen counter. All right, so here are my tomato plants, and they're not awful, but they're not the greatest. So I'm excited to actually tell you a little bit about what I've learned about these tomatoes and why a tomato plant is so cool. So as you can see, let me show you one that you can really tell. Probably this one, but then also these. Okay, so first of all, this here, I'm going to show you the difference. This one here, this is a cherry tomato, okay? So you can see the difference in size. So this one's more of a fuller plant, I guess. And this is a beefsteak tomato plant. Now, tomato plants actually have roots that reach from the stem down into the soil, and they will root as far up the stem as they can. So I'm going to show you on this one. Hopefully the camera can, oh, right. Hopefully the camera can see that. See the little legs hanging off that there? Those little white legs. Those are actually little legs that are trying to root into the dirt. And you can really see it here with the cherry tomato. See how they're reaching for the dirt down below here? That is super neat. So what I've seen is when you plant your tomato plant in the garden, you're actually gonna wanna plant your tomato plant like this on its side and keep as much as the vine underneath the soil as you can, because what's going to happen is all these little fuzzy things, so you can kind of see them there. It's better with a dark background. See how it's really fuzzy? those will actually all take hold and root into the dirt, making your foundation of your tomato plant very strong. So this isn't a bad thing that they're long, because I want that when I plant it in the garden, but what I don't want is them already laying over like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna help support them. And I actually bought this. This is the tape I was just talking about. It's Velcro, and you just cut to size. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that. So let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so first off, before I get into helping them stand, I wanna say I am not a professional at this. As you know on my page, I bring things to you as I learn them and being as self-sufficient as I can be. And let's just say that is the coolest thing when you do something and it works. So if you have tips and tricks for me because you're more experienced or you've done this before or all the things, drop below in the comments any advice for myself, but also people that have been following along and watching, all right? So thank you so much for that. So what I'm going to do, and I was looking at this one here. So this just shows you how strong tomato plants are, even when they do become laggy. So you can see that this one became laggy because I hadn't got to them and drooped, but then this started growing up because it was reaching for the sun again. So I don't want to pull really too hard on this because I don't want the stem to snap. But what I'm gonna start doing is I'm going to take just a simple shish kebab stick, a wooden shish kebab stick, and I'm gonna stick it into the dirt so the vine then has something to support it. And then this is that Velcro tape I just showed you. So you can peel it off and cut it to size. And then we're simply just going to wrap it around the plant and the stick like this so it holds it. And that's it. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna put it on a time lapse so you don't have to sit here and watch me do however many I have here, 6, 7. And then I'll show you once I've got one done. So that is working so good. I am so happy with this. So as you can see, it's now standing straight as can be. And you can see here that this stem, even though now it's straight, still has the curve here. That's totally okay. What I'm gonna do is just leave that, because what's gonna happen is when I plant this, like I showed you, I'm gonna plant it sideways like this so I can get as much as the stem into the dirt that I can. And if you can't plant it sideways like this because you just don't have the room, what you can do is you can dig down, instead of this far into the ground, you can dig down about this far from the top of this down to here. So when you take this dirt out of this cup, you can then plant this entire thing down. So where the dirt of the garden starts is right about here, where your first leaves sprig off. Super cool, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish the rest of these tomatoes, and then I'll show you where we're gonna put them in their new home. Okay, let me get down here on my knees. I'm super happy with how these turned out. So why they're in my bedroom is because when we built our house a couple years ago, we had a vision for keeping our house as cost effective as we could and not having a lot of direct light come into it to save on cooling, because it's just super hot, right? So in the summer, we have an overhang off the back that's 16 feet out and then 5 feet on the front. So we don't have a lot of direct sun come in the windows. This window here, let me show you, is the biggest window in our house. You can see the overhang there. See how far off the overhang is? So we don't have a lot of direct sun coming in the house, which was smart, but we weren't thinking about growing plants. You see my big plants are by my window as well, and I have a big bamboo tree, but I need light now for these plants. So this is where they're gonna go. I started, so you've seen how I started there. I didn't do a time lapse of all of them because I thought it's the same thing. You don't need to waste your time watching. But what I did was I actually took the Velcro sections that I had cut off and I cut them in half this way as well, so they're just thinner and I'm not wasting too much product there. But there we go. This is how they turned out. They're all standing straight up, as straight as can be. And like I said, once a tomato plant has developed, the stem is quite flexible. So that one's got a little bend in it, but like I said, when we plant it, I'm gonna dig the hole deep enough to where this basically right here is where the top of the dirt will be. So this entire stem will be under the ground, because you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. No, I don't think you can. I was gonna say, maybe you can see all the little hairs that would take root, which is super cool. So that's as much as I was gonna show you today, is just getting our tomato plants up and ready. My daughter must be watching her show. She didn't want to hear me talk. She shut the door. Okay, so these are good to go now. I'm super happy with how they turned out. There was 3 cherry tomatoes that I didn't stake, like this one, because they're all standing up quite well. But there was a couple of the cherry tomatoes, like this one here, that I did stake because you can see that it was starting to grow a little wonky. So I just kind of bunched it together and put it against there, and you can see that I cut that Velcro in half so it's not as wide as these ones here. See the difference? Less product goes further, right? So there we go. I am, like I said, super happy with how these turned out and how this system is working. Now, these plants, now that they're so developed, is perfect. They need to be in a place where they're not super warm anymore, because the stems need to harden on them. So that's perfect, because when we sleep at night, we turn our ceiling fan on and it'll get the air moving in here and they'll be in the dark. So their stems will start to harden, and that's exactly what we want. So there we go. I'm gonna do another video on all the other things as we do them, but this was just a quick update on our seeds and then next steps with our tomato vines. So there we have it, super simple. Let me know, like I said, down below in the comments, all the success that you've had growing tomatoes, whether it be cherry, grape tomatoes, beefsteak, whatever tomatoes you grow. And it's super cool when you do grow your own tomatoes by seed, because there's a huge variety that you can pick from, and the seed packets are a lot more cost effective than going out and just buying a beefsteak plant, right? So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for following along. I'm super excited for all of you that have followed along and that are here on this journey with me. And I'm super excited to keep you up to date on all the things. Bless you. Bless you. I'm super excited to keep you guys up to date on all the other things that are happening in the greenhouse, the progress, and all the things with that too. So if you like what you see and you're super proud of all the things that are happening here, say hi. And you're super just loving this and you want to learn more about how you can be self-sufficient as well and grow seeds and do the entire process, just click that like button, hit subscribe. Okay, honey. Thank you. Hit that bell, subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss a video. Like this video and you'll never miss one, because once these are hardened too, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you along and show you moving them from here into the garden. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you guys so much for following along, as always, from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you next time. Bye. You say bye? Come on in, honey. Say bye. Bye.